And hello and welcome back to Fate Hano Ataraxia. Last time we got to a point where we were starting something new when I pressed start. Something happened. Yeah, I was about to say, if it doesn't happen this time, I'm so fucked. That vaguely looks like just because the hair color, righter? My awakenings always begin with anguish. I fall from a sunless abyss to sunlit ground. I go from darkness to light. It isn't much different than being born through a birth canal. A spark of life somehow ignites in my dying body, rekindling consciousness in this world once again. Elaborate? I writhe in sharp pain. The moment I am reborn, the blood circulation, bone, joints, nervous system, internal organs, everything I need to live generates pain. I'm alive to suffer. My already fried brain searches for normality within its damaged state, able to start functioning only through pain. In short, my body finally gains human thought through agony. It feels as if I have been multiplied into 100 people, all of whom have been mixed onto a pallet. Oh, is this going to be like the freaking, beast thing that we saw? Is that what they are? Ooh, is it like a collective unconsciousness sort of thing? I'll always reference Persona for that, but I don't think that wasn't something they made up. At the very least, that wasn't the original thing in Persona. Where it's a bunch of souls and whatnot being connected to each other and creating one sort of unconscious. Whatever clear identity I had is gone, and the countless indistinguishable beings I have become melt together. To be resurrected from nothingness demands that much of a price. That chaos. That feeling that I have ceased to be anything absorbs and assimilates even my agony. My ego is gone. Why be reborn? Why do I have to go through this? Even those questions become things of the past. I've attained the state of no self. It is a pure paradise, with neither happiness nor sorrow. One that will never bear fruit. But just one thing alone is painful. Tears come down my cheeks. In the depths of this perfected land, why am I still connected to something so beautiful? It's so purposely vague. Oh, okay, are we actually back to this? Once again, the first day begins. Are we... the woman parted ways, and my lovely master, Lady Bizette, lies sleeping on the sofa. So we're back to his perspective. Presumably that was him? Or so it appears. She's dead, actually. The reason's obvious. She had her heart pierced by the serpent saber right in front of the church. Right, but aren't you pretty dead too? We actively had it described that you lost in like a second. Since she'll start breathing again eventually, there's no need to bother waking her up or burying her. Oh, interesting. All I have to do is guard this place as a servant.
でもな、退屈だな。いたずらしちゃおうかな。
She's gonna come back to life? Wait, what was it? The first day. Once again, the first day begins. So is it that first day again? Or did she die? And she's going to resurrect or something like that. Honest my own desires while never heeding the desires of others, that's me. I'm the kind of servant that puts my own pleasure first, so I'll engage Basette in some good old-fashioned necrophilia. Sensors on, right? Yes. Sensors on. The usual me would start eating her midway through the deed without thinking, and the room would be a mess before I realized it. Of course, I'd only do that if she wasn't my master. Okay, I know I don't monetize my videos, YouTube, but please don't. I'm just wondering if it'll pick me up saying necrophilia and be like, never send anyone to his channel again. Of course, I'd only do that if she was not my master. Interesting guy here. If she were to wake up while I'm doing her, she'd be a pain in the ass to deal with later. I'm used to getting hated and killed, but cried at. That isn't love. And hated and killed is? Since I have nothing else to do, I start to kill time in a simple way. Click, click, click. Click, 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 click. I slide the panels around, matched to the ticking of the clock. Speeding up the tempo, I became seriously focused on the game. Did you never solve it? Yeah, you might not want to have done that. Is this going to go the same? I heard a sultry breath from the sofa. Lightly shaking her head. Oh, is this the first? I think this is the first time we've gotten an actual look at her, isn't it? Because before we had a silhouette, so they do have art for her. Okay. Lightly shaking her head, Mazette glares at me as if I were her enemy.
よ、目が覚めたかマスター。まさか今度も記憶が曖昧だなんて言い出すんじゃないだろうな。
記憶は確かです。あなたが私のサーバントであることも、私がこの洋館を隠れ家にしているマスターであることも知っている。以前ここで目を覚ました時、私の記憶が不確かだったことも覚えています。
So, presumably this is... Does he know that this would happen because it happened before, or... Oh, that's an idea. Maybe the reason she was out of it previously. So if she says...
結構話が早くていい。じゃあまあ、早速外に出て聖杯戦争の続きといこ
う。待ちなさい。この洋館以前のことは曖昧ですが、その後のことは全て覚えている。私とあなたが敵マスターに敗れ、殺されたこともだ。
Interesting. Okay. Okay, so I was going to say, if she says that she doesn't remember being killed, then I thought, huh, I wonder if this servant killed her previously and she didn't remember that little bit of time right before she died, and that's part of why she had a fuzzy memory before. Like, why am I, what? Like, because I think she, like, remembered, I suppose she remembered stuff vaguely, even before, too, back before that, but that would also explain why he knew that she'd wake up again or something like that.
それは肝心なことは覚えてないくせにどうでもいいことは覚えてるんだな。で、それがどうした？今生きてるんだからいいじゃねえか。細かいことは気にすんなよ。
よくはない。こんな不条理放っておいたままでいられるものですか。答えなさいサーバント。私たちは倒された。それ
どうしてって生き返ったからだろう。ま、厳密に言うと1日目の夜に戻ってるってことだけどな。
Elaborate. Bassett shows no signs of surprise. I guess she must have been thinking over what happened from the moment she woke up. I gotta admit, that adaptability of hers is a rare talent. The problem is, she doesn't realize that she has that gift. Nah, more like she just looks down on herself. Oh well, not like I'm in any position to criticize her on that front.
それが事実なら、私のサーバントは大したものだ。
Are we claiming that the servants creating an ability for them to come back to life?
死者の蘇生には時間旅行、平行世界の運営、無の否定、いずれかの魔法が絡む。
Those all have lots of implications, don't they?
あなたはその奇跡を可能とする英霊だというのですか？
Why are you looking at me like that? You don't believe me? No, actually, you're making fun of me, no doubt about it. No, ma'am. Lonely little old me can't do something that freaking nuts.
まあ、その真似事をしてると思ってくれればいい。
Oh.
あんたは死んでも生き返れる。俺と契約している限り何度だってやり直せる。誰に敗れようが、こうしてここから仕切り直しができるってわけだ。
Isn't that just... Wouldn't that, like, imply victory? Wouldn't you automatically win with an ability like that? Like, you can never lose.
原理はわかりませんが、リセット。いえ、ループしているということね。
Actually, are we back on the first day? He literally said that, but is it time travel? Is that what we're saying? They're being vague.
どんな宝具かは見当がつかないけど、とにかくあなたは夜になれば蘇生。いえ、死んだ場合、生きていた頃のこの場所にスキップしてしまう。結果、私たちはまだ生きているから死から蘇生する。運命に介入、改ざんするタイプの宝具ですか。確かに英霊を名乗るにふさわしい力だわ。
So time travel?
これなら本人がどんなに弱くても納得がいく。
So you can accept that I was that weak, huh? Okay, so I did get killed without showing off any of my, good points. Anyone would get fed up after that.
そういうわけだ。だから安心してやられてくれ。ああ、けど殺されるのはなるだけ夜がいい。俺は夜でないと戦えないんだ。昼間はあんまり調子が出ないたちでさ。
Weird. Does it have to do with that black moon?
ループの条件は夜中でなければならないということですね。確かにそれぐらいの弱点がなければ強力すぎる宝具だわ。
Oh my goodness, she's like someone who's playing a game or like a card game or something like that and being like, this has got to be balanced. And it's like, why does it have to be balanced? Boss, you're getting a few things wrong there. Whatever. It all comes down to the same thing.
いいでしょう。行動を起こすのは夜中だけとします。日中はここで眠りますから、あなたも勝手な行動は控えるように。
はいよ。けどあんたこそさ、昼間は決して外に出てくれるな。俺日中は本当に弱いんだ。マスターが守ってくれなきゃ簡単に殺されちまうからな。
Hot damn. Okay. So in observation, so there was the mention of that abandoned mansion, right? That was like something they brought up during like the whole opening scenes with the like camp and whatnot they had at the temple. And at the time it's like, is that Tosaka's? It's like, we think that's Tosaka's. But I do remember looking at the map and being like, no, those are two different places. So is it this mansion then? It's probably this mansion that they were referring to.
わかりました。何か著しく立場が逆な気がしますが、あなたの特性は把握しましたから。戦闘能力こそ皆無ですが、特殊能力は他に類を見ないものです。戦闘は私が行いますから、あなたはその得意な宝具で聖杯戦争をフォローしてくれればいい。
Fantastic.
そりゃ助かるけど、極端すぎないか、マスター。
Yeah, he's not completely incompetent, is he? I know he's not strong, but...
俺だって少しは戦える。サーバントには勝てないと断言できるが、その気になれば足止めくらい。
あの結果でですか？戦闘面においてあなたには何も期待していません。あなたはそこにいるだけでいい。
She is being blunt.
楽でいいけど、それじゃあいつまで経っても勝てないぜ。マスターからサーバントを引き離すのも何度もうまくいくとは思えないし。
It still goes into effect as long as, like, when he dies, right? Like, if he died well before and she kept fighting for a while on, would it still go into effect? So let's say he died. What if she lived for another... Because I suppose if he died, then there wouldn't be much point. But I suppose, again, if he... Okay, died in the same way he died previously, would it stick around for, like, the next several days as long as the contract's around? Would it be until she dies next or wins the Holy Grail War? Could she theoretically sacrifice him at a point and then still go on to win the Holy Grail War while also having that backup protection? And if that's the case, could she just kill him now? Just be like, okay, you're gonna be a pain in the butt. Let's just kill you now. I'll keep your power on the sideline just in case. When it comes down to it, fighting the Holy Grail War means beating a servant. Without taking down a servant, you're not going to be able to kill its master. Except there's no way a human being is going to be able to match up against up to a servant. That's why I'm saying I'll help her out, even though I really don't want to bother. But you really wanted to kill... I suppose you don't want to fight a servant then?
いえ、マスターとサーバントを引き離す必要などありません。サーバントなら私が倒します。
I think you might be a little full of yourself. I will definitely believe that you'd be able to, you know, keep up with them and probably maybe even beat some of the weaker ones at the very least. I'm just trying to think like, how would you really do against Saber without like getting really lucky like honestly Shiro did constantly in all the fights he did when he did that shit. Bazette declares this with an unshakable confidence. Now that's a surprise. Here I thought I was immune to these things, but that one just sent a chill down my spine.
それより質問があります。殺されたのが夜なら何度でも蘇ると言いましたが、それは何らかの代償が必要なのですか？例えば私の魔術回路が失われていくとか、あなたの宝具には使用回数が決まっているとか。
いや、代償はないよ。あんたから取り立てるものは一切ない。我が属性は虚無。無がある限り何度でも蘇る。
Nito?
あんたは安心して納得いくまで続ければいい。
So yeah, he's definitely whatever that was at the beginning.
確認しました。あなたと契約している限り、私は負けないということですね。
Well, again, I'm curious if he can die, how long that would stay in effect. And maybe his existence, because his elements being nothingness, like literally him being dead and gone and disappear forever, literally is just... It could like literally be his natural state, so he doesn't even need to exist and be a person. Right. Of course he won't win either.
となると残る問題は一つだけですが、いえ、ここまで好条件だというのにそんな不満を口にするなど何を考えているのか私は。
なんだよいきなり。他に聞きたいことでもあんのか？
Might as well address it now.
そのつまらないことを聞くのですが、
She's getting...
死亡した場合こうして蘇生できるのは素晴らしい反則と言っていい得点でしょう。ですがその蘇生する際のあの痛みは消せないものなのでしょうか。いくら死から逃れるためとはいえ、この先もあの痛みを通過するかと思うと二の足を踏むというか。
は
何それ？蘇生するとき怖い思いでもしてんのあんた？
怖いわけではありません。不快で気味が悪いだけです。
You called it pain?
へえ、あれが地獄と呼ばれる地点なのかわからない。ただおぞましく汚らしかった。本来死者に意識はない。通常の死者なら不快に思わないのでしょうが、意識のある者にはあれは最低のドブクズです。
ああ、そうなんだ。参ったな。俺は特別感じないけど、気がついたらここにいるって感じで。人間とサーバントの違いかね。けどまあ。
Yeah, say that, but that little monologue at the beginning seems to beg to differ. You're going to have to put up with that much. Well, that's a neat little... It's a neat little bit of imagery there. Come on, normally you'd be dead.
その、なんだ。あんたはそりゃわがままってもんですよ。
分かっています。言ってみただけです。
To be fair, she wasn't saying like, this is my demand. She was like, yeah, any possibility we could stop that, that'd be nice.
蘇生の代償なんですから、あの程度の攻めく耐え抜いてみせましょう。
そうそう。この先何度もお世話になるだろうし、今のうちに受け属性作っとけよ。
そう何度も殺されてたまるものですか。次に殺されるのはセイバーのサーバントだ。私がされたようにあの胸を貫いてみせます。
Ooh, someone's got a sense of pride.
ああ、それでこそ俺のマスターだ。
Good old reckless pride, always. Never a downfall for anyone.
じゃあまあ、そのやる気が燃えてるうちに聖杯戦争を続けるとしようか。
Neato. I stop talking and aim for the door. Honestly, I don't give a shit about the Holy Grail War. But I'm also a sore loser. I want to find and kill my enemies now. Right now. I'll kill those bastards that hurt me. I'll kill those bastards that didn't do anything to stop them. I'll kill everything. I'll murder every single living human I see. If I don't, I'm not going to be able to keep my insanity. If I don't, I won't be able to keep myself from going sane.
どうした？行かないのか、マスタ
ー。I swallow down my heart as it threatens to escape my chest and turn back towards Bazette. Maybe my thirst for blood just now reminded her of something. Bazette is looking at me the same way as when she accused me of killing the people in that bloody house.
やはり私は半人前だ。一番大事な質問をどうして思い出さなかったのか。
Oh, what is that? Is it the possibility that he's already killed her at some point? Is it the question I had from earlier? Is it something else? Don't even have to bother wondering why. You forgot because you didn't want to remember.
答えろ。お前は一体何のサーバントだ？
Oh, yeah. A question filled with hostility. Honestly, I didn't really think about that. To that, I find the answer, grinning like a little girl waiting for her sweetheart.
ー。アベンジャー。復讐のサーバントだよ。
Oh, okay. I remember that. A class that shouldn't exist. Its name proclaimed with hatred and joy. Wouldn't that be the only... Isn't there only one servant that could feasibly be that too? I thought it... like, died and became part of the Holy Grail, didn't it? She is attacking in an extremely fast combination. A right straight that actually made me feel sorry for the enemy, mercilessly crushed the monster's skull. Hard to believe it came from a human being, too. Probably out of revenge for having had 10 of the bounce killed already. More break, I'm leaping at her. The moment right after she punches with her right fist, cursed claws take the opportunity to strike at her seemingly immovable position. She dodges just by lightly turning her head, while simultaneously diving her right leg into the monster's head. Sharp and heavy. The head is blown off like a ripe tomato. Pretty. Not even bothering to visually confirm that, Bazette turns around to face the newcomers arriving from behind, once again intercepting them with lethal timing. So there's blood coming out of whatever these things are. It's almost as if she were a spinning top, fitted with a blade. Responding in every direction, clearing the attackers away. A deadly dance that shows no mercy for its target. It is interesting that for a completely different reason, there's some parallel with the relation Emmy and Saber had. For a completely different reason, I'll add again. I was doing pretty well on my own, like the reason Emmy had to fight himself. I was doing pretty well on my own even while watching her in Fascination. But while I was slicing up one of these guys, Bazette pulverized around 3. And I mean literally pulverized, with those skinny legs and her fists. She is totally scattering flesh and cutting through bone. Seriously, I'm impressed. To think human hand-to-hand combat would improve this much. It seems like there are runes of hardening carved into her fists, legs, knees, and toes. But the basic bodywork for that must have been an art perfected for use by human beings. Way different from us when we go berserk, letting instinct take care of the rest. Possessed technique is the legend. Possessed technique is the legacy of the old days of blood and sweat. Years of effort went into being able to use it. I mean, she's a girl. Whoops. A mature, grown-up. I mean, she's a girl. Whoops. A mature, grown-up woman. Wouldn't there be other things she should have been learning? Nah, guess not. These monsters are no match for the walking weapon known by the name of Banzan. They're no better than Hapless Sheep. A back game to be hunted. Homer, stop, they're already dead. Homer, stop, they're already dead. By the way, what the heck's a Homer? Did they really just make a reference to The Simpsons? Or was...
なるほど。これがあなたの言っていた得体の知れない連中
Okay,
ですか?
that's something I gotta ask about. That's totally a fucking reference to The Simpsons, isn't it? Did the original do that? Maybe there's something else that you can sort of twist that? And I don't know. Or is that a translation? Or that is just a little bit of a weird thing to come across, given, you know, the tone of this series and whatnot. Right, mysterious things. Sighing heavily, Bazette puts away her leather gloves. Miss Walking Weapon, what the hell? You beat almost 20 monsters to death and all you do at the end is sigh?
使い魔の類でしょうね。
They had blood, yeah?
知性は乏しく、人間を殺すという単一性能しかありませんが、大量に刺激するには適している。
Are these are like the beings we saw at the... Like, I feel like what's-his-face is connected to them, no? Avenger. Interesting. But, yeah.
私たちの知らない、マスターではない8人目の魔術師がいるのは確かなようだ。こんな使い魔を使って、無差別に人を襲う魔術師など放置できない。
So is the irony here going to be that she's the eighth master? And he's the one technically doing it?
あなたは何か心当たりがありますか?
It does seem as though they've successfully distinguished him from whatever that was in the previous scene. Like, my initial impressions in the opening scenes was that it was two distinct, like, entities, but when I went back and edited it, was like, well, it's sort of written in a way that you could say that maybe it's just trying... That's like a red herring, almost, the implication there, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. But that does seem to establish that pretty significantly.
俺？マスターの言うようなやつは知らない。ま、そのうち出会うんじゃないか。
Obviously, she's connected to them somehow, too. Then again, if she's the only one connected, then I could be off entirely. We know that she's connected. I'm speculating that he's connected. This isn't going to end regardless of what we do, so we ought to bump into each other one of these days anyway.
いいでしょう。それと、あなたを疑ったことを謝ります。町の異常は、この怪物たちの主の仕業で、あなたの仕業ではなかった。
いいさ。冤罪は慣れっこだし、同じ穴の無地ななんだ。こいつらが先か、俺が先かの違いだよ。こいつらが町の人間たちを殺して回ってるもんで、俺の仕事が全くないだけだ。
I like being able to take it easy, but, you know, job's a job. And they can't let other people take it away from me. My whole meaning of life is on the line here. If I go unemployed, I can't live.
そんな仕事はやめなさい。あなたがどこの英霊かは知りませんが、私のサーバントである以上、一般人を巻き込むことは許しません。
だから、今日は誰も殺してないだろ。さっきの屋台の兄ちゃんなんてよだれ垂らしながら見送ったんだぜ。おでんも肉も食いたかったな。けど言われたことは何とか守る優秀な俺。ほら、褒めて褒めて。
I think you might bite her if you do that.
それが普通なのです。褒められることではありません。
My owner's being mean. One of these days you'll only have yourself to blame when I move on to the rebellious stage.
それより、いい加減はっきりさせることがある。あなたの宝具が何であるかは分かりましたが、まだ神名を聞いていない。今更ですが、あなたはどこの英雄なのです？
そんなものは初めに言ったんだがね。覚えていないあんたの落ち度だと思うんだが、そうか。まだ記憶とやらは曖昧なままなのか。
それは、そうですね。こうなっては隠していても仕方がありません。アベンジャー。私はあなたと契約した時のことを思い出せない。時間を置けば回復すると踏んでいましたが、状況は私が思っていたより厳しいようだ。
で、手っ取り早く俺にもう一度説明しろと。そう言われても、俺が知ってることなんてたかが知れてるぜ。あんたは俺をサーバントとして召喚して契約した。気がつけば俺はあの洋館にいて、あんたに首輪つけられてこき使われてたわけだ。そん時に神名は名乗ったが、まあ別にいいか。誰に聞かれてもどうってことない。
They're really taking their time on this.
どうということはない。それはどういう？
俺、自分の名前はないんだ。生前どんな名前だったのかなんて知らねえのさ。
Okay.
そんなバカな。サーバントである以上、あなたは英霊だ。名称のない英雄など存在しない。
ああ、だから名称はある。俺には人間としての名前がないだけだ。周りが呼んでいた名称でいいなら教えられるけど、それでいい？
It's been a while though. If I remember correctly, and I probably don't, wasn't Avenger just like literally like some superstition, essentially? Like I think like it wasn't a real person, it was like a superstition brought forth. And that would sort of make sense with that whole opening monologue there.
もちろんです。契約するとき、私はあなたの名前を聞いているはずだ。結果、あなたを信頼。いえ、聖杯戦争を勝ち抜くにふさわしい力を持っていると判断した。その、私が認めた名称は何というのです？
アンリマユ。どこぞの古びた風習の名前だよ。
Ah, okay. Yeah, that is definitely. I didn't remember what it was, but yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah, I don't really need to hide it. I thought I was supposed to be dead and mixed in with the Holy Grail, though. That's weird. First off, it wasn't that big a deal, so I just gave her a straight answer.
アンリマユ。その名は。
It still sounds like Angry Mayu when they say it in Japanese. Not like Angra Mayu, or however it's technically pronounced. I assume it's not Japanese words, too. I assume it's taken from some tradition in a non-Japanese speaking place. And I part of the reason I remember it is because I was playing Final Fantasy XIV during the time frame I was playing Fate's Day Night, and I realized one of the bosses in that, for one of the, 20-man raids, I think it was, or 24-man? 24-man raids, was named that same thing, and it was like a big eye monster, one of those things with, wings, stuff like that. Isn't the name, it isn't the name of a hero. Or, isn't fit to be a hero. It isn't the name you give to a person to begin with. Yeah, your face just telling me all the above. Or rather, wait, was it? Okay. This is, okay. And I might be wrong. Don't correct me if it's something that I'm better off just not remembering clearly. But, what about this whole thing? Wasn't it something like, it was a superstition that, built up throughout years? And technically, it might have gone back to a real person. eons ago or something like that, but they're nothing like what the superstition actually said. So the servant that's actually brought forth is a manifestation of that person, but with like a completely different personality and all that shit. And that might be me not remembering how the lore works from Fate's Day Night and whatnot, because there was a lot of stuff there that was, I'm going to say arbitrary enough that you'd have to like memorize it basically to remember exactly how it works. But yeah. I remind you, the name of the most powerful demon in ancient Persia. The greatest nemesis in Zoroastrianism, embracing all evil that kept fighting for 9,000 years against the God of Light, guardian of the good of humanity. The God of evil, you'd say. The bad part is the freaking huge scale, overseeing half of the entire world. Give me a break. His name is a bother. Honestly, something of a smaller genre, say, the God of Desk or Pots, would have been much better fit. The tale of Zoroastrianism revolves around the discord caused by the two gods of good and evil. It's the first religion to introduce the duality of angels and demons. Of course, I've never seen an angel in my life, and I'm not exactly acquaintances with any demons. It was just one villager that idolized those teachings. Apparently, just one good deed was enough for me to get treated like a hero and elevated to heroic spirit status after death.
勘違いするなよ。別に神様本人ってわけじゃない。たまたま持ってる属性がそいつに近かったから加盟として付けられただけだろう。英霊としての格は低いし、知っての通りあまり役に立たない三流だ。
Interesting noble phantasm, though. That's the thing about it, right? If it's taking back time, I don't know much about the actual tale, but it's an interesting ability, and I wonder how much it's tied into that.
それはとっくに承知しています。今さら弁解してもらうことでもありません。
That stings, Master.
しかし、アンリマユ。いえ、私の呼び出したサーバントは確か。
Had a more different, endearing name. Oh, Lancer. So are we saying that she was supposed to be Lancer's master? And that she was the person that presumably Kodamine took out in order to get him? Bazette Fraga McRemits wondered to herself.
親愛なる響きね。何？あんた、他に呼び出したい英霊がいたの？俺なんかじゃなく、もっと強くて立派な英雄に当てがあったとか。
Well, it is a bit suspicious that she doesn't remember summoning him.
いえ、そんなことはあまり。
Especially if that's the case. Is that... Is that in the picture? I'm not sure. Or is that like a little antenna coming up off there? Okay, yeah, it probably is, given those have those two. Just after all that shit with Archer, it's like, I'm not trusting random little red lights in the distance. Not really, she adds quietly. Yeah, you're being really obvious. Had some other guy in your mind. Okay, so I already knew that, but who would have thought you'd be so picky about your servants, too? So our relationship was just a compromise. And I was being relatively serious about it, too. Ah, well, I'm over it.
面白いな、その顔。あんたでもそんな顔するんだ。拍子抜けではあるが、まあ予想通りでもある。で、どんな男が好みなんだ、あんた。
Probably not the necrophiliac type.
何を言い出しますか。男性の好みなんて話していなかったでしょ。私はただあなたとかの英霊との違いを考えていただけです。
You are easily riled up.
だからそれが男の話だっていうの。使い魔なんざ術者の好みが第一なんだから、女のマスターが色男を呼ぶのは当然じゃねえか。あ、何？それとも女の英霊でも呼ぶ気だったのか？そりゃ深いな。まさか趣味と実益を兼ねた男装だったとは。
ははは。
私はそのような市場を挟みません。あなたと契約したのはそれが正しいと私が判断したからです。そこに異性の感情など挟まない。
This is going in a weird direction, given that this is Avenger.
ですが、誤解を招く物言いだったことも認めましょう。私は確かにあなた以外の英霊に執着していた。
Why though? You never met him before. You couldn't have, yeah?
そう、それそれ。そこまで白状したなら聞かせろよ。減るもんじゃなし、隠し事は極力潰していこう。で、マスター、あんたもともとどこの英霊を呼び出そうとしてたんだ？
呼び出そうというのは、私にはかの英霊を召喚できる保証はなかったし、私
Okay, so is it like some fascination with the, like, legend? If I vaguely remember Lancer's legend well enough, he was certainly popular with the woman. She starts trailing off. Must be going over some old memories. The emotional state of the woman standing in front of me is regressing fast. Like she's parading herself.
なるほど。信じていない英雄は呼び出せない。けど、あんたはその英雄に会いたかったわけか。
どうでしょう。恥ずかしい話ですが、自分でもわからない。子供の頃の話です。私は何に対しても冷めた子供だった。周りの言う楽しみというものがうまく飲み込めず、よく両親を困惑させたものです。父は言いました。お前は作業のように一日を過ごすのだな、と。負い目があったのは両親だけだったのでしょうね。私はそういった父の罪悪感も感じ取れず、今と同じつまらない毎日を過ごしていた。思い出の大部分はそういった淡々とした日々です。けれど一つだけ夢中になったものがあった。本当にどうしてそれだけが特別だったのか今でもわからない。家の書斎でたまたま手にした私の国ならどこにでもある昔話を読んだとき、
昔話ね。ん？
Someone she didn't believe in, but still wanted to meet. One of the many phantasms that young children dream of and forget in maturity. Tossed away in great number, huh?
ええ、その童話にいる時だけ私は同じ年頃の子たちと同じになれた。子供心にも眩しく映ったある英雄の物語です。けどその話の最後は華やかなものではなかった。そう、みんなは勇ましい話だと言うけれど、私には違った話にしか見えなかった。何もできない私だけど、もし許されるのなら彼を救いたいとね。
To be fair, the desire to save someone exists in all human beings. That much I can admit. Heck, I could even feel it myself. Now, the definition of saving is going to be different from person to person. But as long as that desire is just a wish, it's not something that others can condemn. The problem here, though, should it be okay to wish to save him? Is that the little girl? Is that the little girl didn't understand something that is obvious? There's Bizette, who turns something that anybody can do into a wish. Then there's a mythical hero, the only one the little girl looked up to. I take back I'm over it. Bastard, next time I meet you, you're dead meat.
欲がないな。それがあんたの望みってわけ？聖杯も随分安く使われるもんだ。
Oh, is that her wish on the Grail too? I wasn't interpreting it as such. Wicked laughter. So actually, if he's out here, does that mean the Holy Grail's still not tainted then? If the Holy Grail's not tainted, wouldn't that mean Fate Zero would play out very, very differently? Wicked laughter. Honestly, the idea of using one fairy tale against another is damn amusing.
だからそれは子供の頃の話です。今のは英霊を召喚するとしたら誰を選ぶかという話。もしかの英雄を呼び出せる触媒があったのなら、私には召喚する動機があったという話。
でも結局呼び出したのは俺みたいな半端者だったわけだ。マスターも男運ねえな。
Cackling again. Seriously, she doesn't even look like she's gotten any luck with men.
アベンジャー、今の私の望みは聖杯を確保し魔術協会に持ち帰ることです。
知ってるよ。あんたそこまで器用な人間じゃないからな。
After all, can't make a wish of something that doesn't exist. 0 times anything is still 0.
次はあなたの番よ、アベンジャー。私が答えたのだから教えなさい。
What?
She turned the tables on me. Actually, like my master, there's no wish I want to make using the Holy Grail. Sadly, no, there's just one thing that I voluntarily engross myself in these days.
俺の望み？強いて言うと、絵を完成させたいってところか。
Really? She's looking at me like a clueless idiot. When we get back to our hideout, she's gonna find that puzzle I was working on and yell at me for a more serious answer. There it is!
待って。今強い魔力を感じなかった。
Yep, there it is!
悪い。魔力感知なんざ持ってない。けど発信源なら見たぜ。あのビルの屋上で何か光った。
If this is an arrow, dodge! Bizette is quick to react. She picks a rock off the ground, the sword, right? And throws it over her shoulder, runs towards the center building without as much as asking to follow. Obedient as I am, I chase after Bizette. However, it's still bugging me. Just what is that? Bizette is carrying some kind of tube. Didn't you say the name before? I thought that surely there's a weapon inside, but she didn't take it with her when that last free-for-all happened. I can't help but wonder about this funny container when it's being carried right in front of me.
ねえ、それ何？
Well, she said it was a sword last time, yeah? Bizette is looking for the back entrance into the building. From what I can tell, she's pretty tense.
ねえねえ、それ何なんだよ。
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm being persistent too. Maybe my sincerity got through to her. Bizette stops moving and shows me the container. Length of observation approximately 1 minute. After showing it to me,
どう？わかっ
ああ、わかった。多分 T セットが入ってる。
yeah, definitely. Whoops, pissed her off. Wrinkles forming in her forehead, she reluctantly takes the lid off. Several bowls plop out. Size-wise, they're about the same as track and field shots and about the same mass, I guess. It looks like you can hold no more than 5, but right now they're only 3. Is this not the sword that I thought she called it a sword previously? Is this a different container, maybe? I see. It makes all sense now that she's shown me what's inside. To think that she is carrying this relic. I tremble in your presence, Bizette, fragging McRemits. By the way,
何これ？
good question. The mystery had only deepened.
あなたには説明しません。少なくとも T セットでないことは確認していただけたかと。
Could we try to use it for tea? She puts the spheres back inside and remounts the cylinder on her back. So, she won't explain her trump card to someone who she can't trust, I see. Moving on.
力持ちだな。何？胸が重い分肩に負担かかって筋肉あるとか？使いもしねえくせに無駄にでかいもんな、あんたの。
Oh boy. I tell her the objective truth as observed with my keen eyes. Zette stops dead in her tracks, turning around slowly, like a rusted doll.
微笑ましい。あなたの遮奪さは時に殺意を覚えるほど的確で勇敢だ。
That's another question. Could she murder him and still make use of the power? Questions! Now this is more like it. This is how a master servant should be. The anger she's radiating could end up with me dead if she figures I'll revive anyways. Yeah, that's a good bit of information. There's nobody on the rooftop. Only the sound of powerful wind is there to greet us. So did we get shot at by an archer or something? Because it looked like when Archer shot at us in the other one.
遅かったか。確かに何者かがいた痕跡はありますが、ここから足取りを探るのは不可能だ。
There's certainly no guarantee that it's the same Archer either, given the fact that we've got we've got whatever the fuck they called the twins with a different name that were Rin and Sakura, with one servant presumably split into two? It's unclear if there's supposed to be one or two servants at the very least. Bazette is looking down at the city from the edge of the roof. Something in mind already, I bet. So what I'm doing? I'm mopping off the traces of blood on the floor with my feet. This is the highest place in Shinto. The moon seems a little lower than usual. Had there been a ladder of stairs, you could probably reach it. Even though most of humans are gone, the city lights are still on. I gaze at all that life below, covered in dazzling prosperity. Not that I'm bored. It would be no good to let myself be particularly impressed by anything. But for now, there's nothing wrong with all the scenery.
Avenger.
Out of the blue, Bazette appears next to me.
なんだよ。何かいいものでも見つけたのか？
先ほどの怪物を何体か確認しました。この場所からなら、神都にいる使い魔は肉眼で発見できそうです。
Your eyes are looking obsessive. Instead of just enjoying the city scenery, apparently she's glaring at the monsters wandering around Shinto.
それが何？ここで一晩中観察して使い魔の主人を探してみるとか？
現実的ではありませんね。あれは使い捨てのようだ。主人の元には戻りませんから、ここで監視したところで本拠地は割り出せない。
だろうな。無駄なことはしないに限る。マスターが賢明で助かった。けど、その物言いだと、あんたさ。
アベンジャー。私はあの怪物たちを一掃したい。
Talk about doing pointless stuff? Aren't all the people mostly dead already anyways?
そのために、あなたの力を貸しなさい。
I knew this was gonna happen. Shit. Why do you have to be such a goody two-shoes? This is making me want to tear you apart.
一般人を巻き込むな。なんて命令に比べれば俺向きだけどな。いいのかよ、マスター。あんた、聖杯戦争に勝つことが目的なんだろ？
And just remember, if you get shifted back in time, you're gonna have to do it again and again. Man, that sounds tedious.
連中の主人が邪魔だってんならわかる。けど、奴らが人間を殺して回ってるから一掃する。なんてのは矛盾している。悪い子でいようと決めたのにいい子でもいたいなんて。そりゃ都合が良すぎるだろ。
Now then, I'm not trying to hide my hostility at all. It's pretty clear that we'll end up in a fight to the death soon enough, the way things are going. One arm behind my back, I materialized my favorite dagger. That prediction I made, about killing each other at least once, is about to become reality 10 minutes later, I'd make a pretty good profit. My policy is to wait for the opposition to come at me before I attack. Really is a pity, but we should do this at least one...
あなたの言う通りだ。確かに人助けが目的ではありません。
That is some hesitation. She wisely recognized it.
ですが、間違っていることは正したい。知った以上、私には見て見ぬふりはできません。
She spoke like she was trying to tell herself that.
それはどんな理由で？連中が人を殺すのがいけないってこと？それを見逃す自分がいけないってこと？それとも聖杯戦争より人助けの方が大切だってこと？
To her personally, probably. This is just a job to her in a lot of ways for the Holy Grail War stuff. Probably all of the above. That's why Bizette is confined by these contradictions. She thought that she was right, she wouldn't look so pained. Trying to hold back her inner self, that is contradictory for a magus.
正しいと思える行動に理由はありません。いえ、理由があってはいけないと思う。それを正しいと感じたのなら。
The words of reason and gain should not be used as shields. Probably what she's trying to say.
うわ、独善だね。やばいぜ、その考え。
ええ、あなたに言われなくとも承知している。
Had to get serious on me, didn't you? That's what she wants to believe to be the right way of life. On the other hand, the current Bizette McRummett, stop saying the whole name, is subordinate to the reason that is the association. It'd be fine if she was tough enough to get a good balance between both, but...
まあ、ご立派な思想はいいけどさ。何もそこまで正義に付き合ってやることはないだろう。ありゃ元から形のないものだ。どんなに求愛しても向こうから帰ってくるものはないよ。それよりさ、もっといい目を見せてくれる勢力と付き合った方が良くないか？
Huh?
ですから、私も魔術協会に所属している。私だって見返りは欲しい。それとは別に、できる限り正しくありたいと思うだけです。
Why would someone want to live correctly? I mean, for the sake, like, you want to be a person that you can be proud of? That's one reason, I suppose. Self-image, at minimum. That's sad, when that person doesn't think he's living correctly. So he struggles to show that he's cleaning his sinful hide, even if only a little bit, by taking the right actions. Honestly.
生真面目なあんたらしい。
He says that, but I actually disagree. I do not think people want to be a good person solely in the case that they're a bad person trying to make up for it.
要するに、徳の高い人間になりたいんだ。
What a clumsy, miserable way of living this human has.
そうなのかもしれませんね。けれど、私にはかなわない願いだ。私は壊すことでしか感謝されない人間です。人徳とは、他人に親しまれる、他人に与えることができる人間が持ち得るもの。決して私に与えられるものではありません。
To contribute to society, to save people. That's what virtue is. All she can do is destroy. A person that is unable to fix cannot truly gain trust, is what her eyes tell me.
それは誤認だと思うけどね。
いいえ、私には私財を投げ打って貧窮の民を救うことも、新しい組織を作ることもできない。あくまで歯車の一つで、いつまでもちっぽけな一個人から抜け出せない。そんな人間に高い徳なんて得られるはずがないでしょう。
まさか。
I got seriously angry there. Not good. I'm actually getting into a serious conversation.
それだけは完璧に間違いだ。金で徳は買えねえよ。徳ってのは魂の質だ。それは得るものじゃない。苦しみながら自分の中で培うものだろう。
It's the same for any human, no matter how insignificant, no matter how powerless, no matter how worthless. It's a function everyone has at birth. A radiance refined by the will to move forward. There's no line drawn between good and evil. There's only those that aim for the peak as living beings that the door to enlightenment opens for.
徳は自らの価値は外的評価によるものではないというのですか？
あ？いや、価値って話なら外的評価が全てだよ。そのための徳、そのための自己錬磨だ。せいぜい高値ふっかけて自分を自分以上に買ってくれるやつとくっつくためのパラメーターだよ。
Improvement of inner space is linked to the improvement of external space. The more vain and lonely someone is, the more they cling to being a good person, and feel ashamed about how pathetic that makes them. I'm so selfish for trying to be good, just so people won't hate me, they think. However,
それでいいじゃねえか。誰かに認められたいって気持ちはな。その気持ちがあるやつは同じようにきっと誰かを認めてやれる。
how about the desire to be accepted by oneself? I like inherently think of, there definitely are people like this. I don't think it's exclusively this is my point.
あんたの方針が結局は自分のためだって言うんなら間違ってなんかいねえってこと。
Mainly because as soon as you reject that people can be good people, I guess part of it is that when I see people making arguments like this, it's not so much that they're entirely wrong about the possibility, it's that they're mainly trying to reject the possibility of other things happening. Usually when I see people thinking in this frame of mind, it's less so because that doesn't exist, and more so because they're shitty people. And they hate to believe that people that, aren't shitty people could possibly be, less shitty than them, so everyone else is actually really selfish whenever they try to do anything, good or anything like that. All those, nice, good acts, those, feelings of trying to be a good person and all that sort of stuff. It's gotta be this just excuse, basically. It's a way to drag people down to their level so they feel better about themselves. That's what I see this mentality as. And again, there are definitely people like that. Not exclusively, though. That's where the good part of love and joy and life with others lies. Granted, she hasn't gotten to that point yet, so I doubt she'll ever realize it before she dies. Anyway, this woman's clumsy, but she's resourceful. So by some accident she wound up like this, seemingly able to accomplish anything. Well, yet pessimistic. Self-reform that keeps putting you on detours. Knowing that you're wrong, screaming that it isn't a big deal, you struggle desperately towards a brighter path. So that's the kind of human I offered a hand to.
そのあなたらしからぬ考説でしたが、結論として今後の方針に文句はないという解釈でいいのですか？
ああ、いいんじゃない？正義の味方ってのも気持ちよさそうだし、たまには理不尽な死から人々を守るのも悪くない。
Just hearing hero justice makes me want to vomit, but that's probably the best word for it.
意外ですね。正義なんて言葉、あなたが最も嫌うものだと感じていましたが。
嫌いだよ。けど、そういう方向性は好きなんだ。
は？
First off, it doesn't change what I do. We wander around the city at night, kill the masters and kill those monsters. Only the priorities are now even. It's still right within my range. There's still plenty of life in Fuyuki. Till my master gets full, the cup isn't gonna run dry. Never attaining victory, the two of us. Who knows no death will overcome only defeat.
そう。あんたの気が済むまでやろうぜ、マスター。何事も経験だ。飽きるまで楽しめばいい。
Alone, I count the ravaging winds. Alone from this tower. From this tower, the closest to the heavens, the lights of the city look like fakes. The Holy Grail War will keep on going. The murder's my only amusement. Keep on going. Tomorrow, we'll probably be defeated and revived yet again. Until the time comes, till Mazette decides to change her plan. I'll stick with her for the time being. This place is a far and deep, hollow sky. Anything gained is all going to be an illusion in the end.
あんたの気が済むまでやろうぜ、マスター。
Does he know? Like, ultimately, my assumption is that the story, what's happening is that it's super mega parallel universes all collapsing, and there's like some Schrodinger's cat thing going on where the stuff in where Shiro is and whatnot will ultimately somehow decide through something which one of those realities will come out as the true one in the end. And so far, we came out with a reality where everything's dead, basically.
何事も経験だ。飽きるまで楽しめばいい。
Having said that, my servant looked elsewhere. Oh, we switched perspective. Okay. For whatever reason, his disposition changed. He ceased talking and is now quietly gazing at the nighttime scenery. Servant Avenger. Was that supposed to be like the tarot card for it or something? Is that what that was? Though it not among the 7 classes, they say exceptions sometimes occur in the Holy Grail War. Avenger must be one of those. The notion of a heroic spirit, meaning vengeance, is a contradiction in itself. But the title of Angra Mainyu is an even bigger mystery. It is common among heroes to be recorded in history by the titles they were that were gained later, and not by the names they were born with. The story that I told him of the hero of my homeland was also one of them. But the tone of the name Angra Mainyu is just too ominous. I must get his real name out of him one day, for his sake. Not that horrible one, but the name he was given at birth. Yeah, didn't he say he didn't remember it? Below, I see dark shadows wandering across the sky. Even with the Kana's Rune of Farsight, all I can tell from here is the general state of Shinto. Fuyuki's divided into 2 by the Mian River to see what is going on in Miyama, which lies past the big bridge. I have no choice but to cross it myself. Those black monsters have to be hiding there. I wonder, what rituals are those monsters bound by? I've never seen that type of familiar, even in the association. Mysteriously, they seem to be operating under orders, yet apparently possess no intelligence of their own. Their actual purpose is unclear. Combat ability is fairly high. Like, large hunting dogs are feral monkeys with amplified human forms. And they have blood, right? I still have just a feeling that those are people. Because the other interpretation of that original scene with Avenger going in there was that I sort of got the impression that the beast that killed them was either an extension of him, or it was like one of the people inside that had turned into it or something like that. I sort of wonder if they're actually the people of the town, ultimately, and that's why it's so empty. A human without combat experience would be killed immediately with no resistance. A human with 10 years or more of involvement in martial arts and sports could put up a fight for several seconds, provided the conditions were favorable, or alternatively escape. However, there are many. In addition to that, their appearance is physiologically repulsive, with claws that stick out like blades and bark like and a bark-like rough body. Interesting. If attacked by several of them, a human would not survive without firearms. Also, okay, I don't think we heard that before. Oh, my ears. That scream is just too discomforting. A shrill voice that the ears cannot withstand. Yeah, thanks for that, game. Totally different from the roar of a beast. Yeah, it sort of sounds like... I'm not going to play the thing. It sort of sounds like a person screaming, maybe. If insects that swarm together in the shadows possessed a vocal system, these are the kinds of cries they would make, no doubt. Avenger doesn't seem to mind those voices. In the last fight, he dealt with those monsters as if it was simple work. But even then, his abilities are not something I would rate highly. His self-appointed title, The Weakest Servant, is correct. But while he's correct, it would be a joke for any heroic spirit to have a hard time against these kind of small fry, wouldn't it?
詐欺じゃないだろう。初めっから最弱だって断ってんだから。
待って、あなた、私の考えが読めるの？
読めねえよ。そんな風な面してたから言っただけだ。ま、読めたらさぞ面白いだろうよ。あんたは中身と外見がちぐはぐだからな。
He laughs rudely. This man's crudeness does not suit me at all. And he is weak. And he is all talk. Looks like I'm going to have to take the lead on the rematch with Saber. But he's not all bad. The servant excels at not dying. He is unkillable to begin with, as he would simply revive after dying. That may have been the very reason for the composure that allowed him to become extremely good at fighting defensively. In that last fight, I dealt with being surrounded by felling enemies one by one in a matter of seconds. He, however, had completely held them off while being surrounded until I ran in to support him. His fighting style will not allow him to win, but it will not cause him to lose either. That, I really don't want to admit it, but that is an outstandingly good match with my combat strategy. Yeah, that explains why he lost so easily last time against the Sabers. Yeah, definitely. Yet stronger wind blows past me. From the corner of my eye, I see the flowing hair of the servant standing next to me. Flowing hair? Did the silhouette have distinctly short hair? A primeval shaman enveloped in the winds of wilderness. I see a vision of a simple figure, taking nature as it is, living and dying along with it.
アベンジャー、今の。
そろそろ行こうぜ。連中がたむろしている場所は把握しただろ。あんなんでも生き物だからな。ばらせば気晴らしにはなってくれる。
It was only my imagination. Well, I assume it's sort of like the visions that Shiro got and whatnot, yeah? Avenger was only looking for where the monsters are.
おう、そうか。難しく考えることはなかったんだ。あんたも人が悪いぜ、マスター。結局さ、目につく敵は全て殺せってことじゃねえか。
Skillfully twirling his brutal knife, he hooks his lip upward, as if truly having fun. As long as he can kill something living, he's happy. Whether human or animal, they were originally the same beast anyway. I glare... That's actually a... what? They were originally the same beast anyway. Oh, I guess he's because they evolved from... Is that like a comment on... like a joke about evolution, basically? I glare at my servant.
Yeah. ああ、間違い。人間は殺しません。やるのはマスターと怪物たちだけにするから、そう怖い顔しないでください。ああ、もうつまんねえの。うちのマスターは器量小せんだからさ。でかいのは胸だけかよ。
You really want to kill each other, don't you? Still chattering, he disappears inside the building.
最低ですね。あれは何を言ってもあのままだ。
With a sigh, I leave the rooftop. Above me is the ominous moon. Below me is the depths of the city. I have disgust and distrust for the servant I am fighting with. This Holy Grail war has given me nothing but cause for unease so far. Yet despite that, I am becoming attached to that servant, if only slightly more than yesterday. Well, if you keep dying constantly, you're going to have a lot of time to get acquainted. The servant that was gazing at the city. Seeing his cold appearance, a contradictory thought crossed my mind, for no apparent reason. That man is hopelessly evil. And yet, at the same time, could it be that he loves the human world just as much? Well, I will note, dialogue something. I will note, hello and welcome back to, okay, I guess we have more options. Neato. Ooh. That's the house. Because it wasn't Tosaka's, it's on Shinto's side, actually. Huh. I don't think that's wrong. But that's probably a good place to end it, just because, you know, timing. Intriguing. I will say, the very nature of vengeance and avenging literally means you have to have something you care about. It's not death for the sake of death, it's the death for a purpose, right? It's killing and violence for like a legitimate purpose, something that feels that passion to go that far, yeah? Okay, well, like I said, that's probably a good place to end it. Next time I'll do something. Does it look like there's a... Looks like, okay, we have a story thing over there. No, I'll probably do one of these other ones. I'm scared of being with her at any given time. Yeah, people mention, I mentioned last time, just imagine if she came back as a servant, and the comments remained like, well, maybe. And my thought when I read that was like, that's either the scariest thing in the world or the derpiest thing in the world. Or maybe both. In one of like the million fate things out there, it seems. Yeah. So, I'll see y'all next time. Drive safely, everyone.